Witam wszystkich serdecznie. Dzisiaj będę mówić o specjalnej osobie Michael z programu boxmining na YouTubie. 200 000 subskrybentów, od 2 lat bardzo aktywnie promuje wszelkiego rodzaju kryptowaluty. Do tego profil na Instagramie, był właśnie na Islandii i udało mi się przeprowadzić dla Was wywiad z nim. Zapraszam do oglądania.
Cześć, witam wszystkim. Dzisiaj moim gościem jest Michael z programu boxmining. Witaj Michael in Iceland. So welcome Michael in Iceland. How are you doing
Thank
today?
you, man. Dude, thank you for the invitation. This has been great. Had an amazing trip, and I think it's so weird to talk about crypto again, but let's do this. It's one of the most exciting areas to be in crypto as well.
Iceland.
Yeah,
Okay.
you got cheap electricity. You're mining. I think it's easy for anyone to get into mining. And you should just mine yourself, so long as you can buy for cheap.
Yes. So I have a question. Do you have any prediction for the next couple months, let's say?
Oh, okay. So let me say this. I'm super bullish in the long term. So even just before coming onto this trip, so just even looking at this whole situation, the political climate, I don't think I'm actually bearish on the political climate. The trade war, U.S.-China, it's going to result in money being printed, and we have this concept, right? So I'm actually rereading the Bitcoin standard, and it's just talking about how the money that we use now, fiat money, so U.S. dollar, the renminbi, they're all soft money. It's so easy to print it, right? It doesn't require anything. Just a politician to sign something and say, okay, let's print some money, guys, and then money comes out, right? And that's not the way it's supposed to be. Right. So then you talk about hard money, and hard money has been something like gold or Bitcoin, where it actually costs resources to create that money. Mm-hmm. So gold being one of them, you actually have to mine it from the ground, and there's very limited supply. And even if the gold prices go up, it's extremely hard to mine even more gold. And the same thing goes with Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin, the amount is finite. 21 million Bitcoin, that's it. That's it. That's hard money. It's real money. So I think I'm super bullish on it because you're actually using real money for once. So that's Bitcoin. Bitcoin is digital real money, and there's so many advantages that cannot be captured in any other market. And I think a lot of people forget about this. I mean, I come to Iceland, and I can bring Bitcoin with me. I can send you Bitcoin right now. I can just tell on my phone, boom, I can send you Bitcoin right now.
Let's do it.
Where's my phone though? I don't have my phone. But yeah, I can absolutely do that. And I have I'll send you some in a sec where I have some tradable tokens. But I'm completely sure like this is something that you can do without needing government permission. I don't need any government permission.
You're from Hong Kong, right?
Exactly.
If you would like to send me money from your
bank
bank
and I do this all the time. I think that's why when you say it, I'm like, okay, I'll just grab my phone.
No,
my
I'm saying if you would like to send me money from your bank account,
it's possible.
I mean, it would take a long time.
It will take a long time, and also, not just maybe it's not impossible, but I've been through this, right? You have to pay both banks. You have to pay my bank a fee.
Wait a couple of days.
Wait a couple of days, and you have to pay your bank a fee, and for what? To move a few numbers around? That doesn't make any sense. So the fact is, and just to explain this a little bit more, why I said it's impossible is if you're from China, if I'm actually from China right now, then I'll actually have to fill in a form. I actually have to explain to the government, why am I sending Magic this amount of money? And the government can decline. This is why China is very, very bullish on Bitcoin right now. It's because in terms of sending the renminbi out, because renminbi is a close, they're artificially pegging the renminbi to the price, and that's why they don't want you to exit with your money. That's why Chinese, it's impossible right now.
I see.
You have to fill in that form, and there's actually a limitation of $50,000 US dollars they can bring out of China. So even if you're doing it for legit purposes, like say if I want to be studying overseas, there's actually a cap.
I see.
And then after that, you just get declined. That's crazy if you think about it. So I think a lot of people...
You earn your own money, and then you just cannot access them, right?
How does this even make sense, right?
Exactly.
So there's a lot of problems with the current banking sector and with our government political restrictions of our finances. And I think this is something that cannot be replaced. Even if I try to bring gold, to Iceland.
Yeah, and also the duty and the
Yeah.
customs, they would
Yeah.
not allow
So
you.
either I declare it and I get taxed on it, or I don't declare it and I risk confiscation.
Exactly.
Right? So this is the power of cryptocurrencies right now, and this is something that a lot of people still don't understand. If you understand this, you're good. You can just turn this video off, and you're like, okay, you're good. You're good. You understand why you need this, because I think a lot of people, they're worried about today's price, but they don't really care about what's gonna happen in the future. They don't care that their own money, the money that you have in your bank,
Yes.
that's not real money.
No,
That's just a number.
So we believe that the bull market will, soon come.
Not
Sooner
soon.
than later.
Okay, so not soon. And I think that's the caveat here, is because right now I think we're still going on a purge in cryptocurrencies. There's just too much craziness happening. There are too many people who didn't understand what was happening. They were looking for fast money, and they didn't understand what they were buying. They just bought it. They think, okay, Ripple. That was a joke that we said, because I talked to a lot of OTC desks in Hong Kong. So they do fiat to crypto, and people were coming in and they're asking, what do you want to buy? Ripple. Ripple is hot. and then after Ripple was Tron. You want to be Tron. Fast money, right?
Yes.
So all the fast money, they didn't understand what was happening. They didn't understand the basics, the fundamentals.
Absolutely.
And then they were looking for, okay, I want to get rich today. I want my Lambo. I want to go to the moon.
100x tomorrow.
100x tomorrow. But anything that's 100x tomorrow, that's a scam. I mean, that's really easy right now. Like BitConnect, that's a scam. Plus token, that's a scam. Cloud token, that's a scam. So many people trying to capitalize on quick money people.
Yeah.
Like you're just sheep, right? They're just gonna fleece you. They're gonna take your money and run, and that's what happens. So in short term, not the best,
Not the best.
but long term.
So what did you expect? When did you expect the?
You don't have the crystal ball, but we see the patterns, right?
Yeah.
So for me, the patterns that I see, I think this is actually quite a valid argument. I actually saw this multiple times pop up, and then this actually really reinforced my belief, which is when people start to actually, the general community start to want to learn, when they stop becoming fighting, when there's less tribalism, when they generally said, okay, look, I want to learn. That is when you know that people are coming in. And then when it's gonna explode, man, I've been to conferences before where like they have no idea what Bitcoin is. And that's when like, okay, explosion is gonna come, guys.
Okay.
Because there's lots of new people, lots of dumb money coming in.
I see.
There, so I typically think the cycle for now, typically the cycle for crypto is 2 years. Okay, so we're actually hitting the second year of the bull market so far, but I actually believe that the run up is much higher this time.
Yeah.
Okay, it's all over the news.
Need more money also.
Oh, more money came in.
Yeah, but from 3,000 to 20 is less than from 8,000 to 40.
It is less, but the exposure is much greater. So everyone knows about crypto. Like I met random people on tours and like, what do you do? I do crypto. Oh, I lost money.
Really?
Yeah. So
It's the most common thing that you hear, that they lost money.
it's common to hear that they lost money. A lot of people got in 2017. I think you said you got in.
Yeah, but I didn't buy it in 2017.
Ah, smart. That's smart.
I'm not sure if,
Yeah.
maybe smart,
Yeah. So people who are good investors, obviously, they look for the timing. And now I think I've been calling this the accumulation market.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is when people start to eye the market and accumulate. And everyone now is going to ask me the question, okay, when is the best time? It's cost average, you buy, you spread it out, you just mitigate all the risks.
Tom Ways, I'm sorry, he's saying the best time. I mean, what do you think about that? Is it the best
$14 cost base.
opinion about the buying Bitcoin, right?
I mean, when he actually buys, okay, this is really important because Tone, at least he's honest about it, right? There's traders out there that say, okay, now is the best time to buy, but do they buy? No.
I mean,
you have to
that's
ask
what
them.
he's
You have to
saying.
ask them.
You cannot take time. This is kind of, his phrase that he's saying you cannot take time back. So today is your day, So,
Right. The best time is for me. It's best time is overtime.
Yeah. What do you think about this tribalism? About people are grouping and they just fighting each other. How?
Tribalism, I think it's a natural part. It's natural. I think something I learned in this space is, when it comes to the general audience, when it comes to everyone, People generally, human nature, you can't fight it.
Well,
I mean, I think it's we're promoting it. We're trying our best to fight it, but it's inevitable because people, they bought something and they want to double down, right? Their mentality is to double down, right? Even if they make a mistake, you have to face the consequences. Either you live up to your mistake, which is really hard. You know, admitting a mistake, admitting you've been wrong.
especially when money are involved.
Yeah, learning something, especially when money is involved, that's extremely hard to do, and it takes a lot of bravery. What most people choose is to try be double down. Let's just say R1 is number one, we're the best. Blah blah blah. Go out and
This
fight.
is a wrong
Right?
approach, I think. We should just, especially people who are like you and the other famous YouTubers, and maybe one day me. We should.
I think this is a good time to start.
Yeah, what I'm saying, we should just kind of be friendly. Like you are here, you are not.
Well,
I don't feel that you. I mean, you are a famous guy, and I don't feel you don't. You don't make me feel bad and bad anyhow.
That's why I don't. I want. I want to be
nice guy,
everyone to.
and we should just get together
Yes.
to be this.
And when everyone thinks like this, this is when the bull market is going to start.
Yes.
Okay, that's. It takes time though, but so I realize that this is something that will take time for people to start convincing them. Drop down your knives, put them down. Put down your guns. Destroy those trenches. No more trenches. We don't want to dig any more trenches. Let's grow together as a community. Because at the end of the day, you think about it. What's the biggest enemy? They're the centralized banks.
Yes, exactly.
Right. That's the system. The system, the corrupt system. And I think that's what I explain to people all the time. And this applies to every crypto that you're in. It's like we are a community that can decide for once monetary policy.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you think about that. It feels so grand. It feels so big. Only the important people can do it, right? Only whatever the bank of the IMF or Donald Trump or only big presidents or whatever.
Yes, absolutely.
Um,
now we are just
right.
simple people. We have
Yeah,
influence.
but the problem is obviously those people. The more you read into them, the more you realize that they're just very very greedy people. I mean, Donald Trump I think was great because he's very clear. He's a very greedy person.
Yeah.
But what about Chinese leader Xi Jinping or Merkel or something like that?
They pretend to be that.
They're pretending to be heroes, but no one's a hero in the space, and that's why you don't trust one or two people. You trust everyone, and that's the power of crypto. And I think it'll take one. I think it'll take 1 year for everyone to realize this. The sooner you realize this, the better, and the sooner you start. I think people panicking prices. For me, I'm feeling so greedy, right? The more they panic, the more greedy I feel. I'm like, oh crap! Like, how many of you are panicking? They raise their hands. The more people they raise hands, I'm gonna buy. So I think this is the important message, right? Once everyone starts putting down the weapons, they stop fighting and saying my coin is better than your coin. I mean, we're so tired of that already. When that happens, that's when I think
we start to build then.
That's when we really start to go. I think that's a promising message for the future.
Super good.
And it's gonna happen. Something that I've experienced is that I've been in a space. So before 2017, I told you before that. That was when really I started the box mining channel. But before that, I made a lot of mistakes from 2012. So that time I was mining just like you are.
Maybe you share a little bit of that story.
Yeah, so my story was I was a student, so I was studying chemistry at that time. I was going through my PhD, and you don't get much money for a PhD, right? And at that time, I was both a gamer and I was a miner. Started mining, and at that time, it was very little money. It was 0.3 Bitcoin a day, which is like $3, right? So you get $3 a day, nothing. But now you say it to today, I still have those emails like, wow, 0.3 Bitcoin, oh my God. It's insane. And at that time, I didn't learn enough.
CPU mining.
It was GPU. It was GPU right before ASICs came.
Okay.
So right before, it was actually Bitcoin. So you mine, and think about that. I mean, that's so, it feels so ancient, right? You're GPU mining Bitcoin, you get 0.3 Bitcoin a day. And then ASICs came, and that kind of killed my profit.
I see.
But at that time, I didn't think much of this. I was mining different pools, and when Bitcoin went from $10 to $15, I was like, oh my God, this is a bubble. This is a scam. All right, guys, I'm gonna sell. Almost sold everything, and then it was 2017. Long story cut short, when I actually logged back into some of the pool accounts, like Slush Pool. Kudos to Slush. He didn't close down shop. He didn't scam me, and I found like 1 or 2 Bitcoin, a little bit less, probably like 0.5 Bitcoins into different mining pools. So I combined them together. I'm like, oh my god, I have like 2 or 3 Bitcoin. That's crazy.
Out of nothing.
Out of nothing. I thought this was like the reason why I had it there was because when I was mining, I was too lazy, right? This is like 30 cents. Why do I want to withdraw it, right? I don't want to withdraw it. I'm just gonna leave it there. So I went to all these different accounts. I withdrew everything, and I felt so happy. And it was also full of regret because I could have retired. I think 2012 coming into this space,
Who knew, right?
if I invested even $5,000 back in the day, like, and the worst part was in 2012, we were investing. At that time, I was learning investing, and I had $5,000, and I bought like stocks. I'm like, I should have just bought all Bitcoin.
Yeah.
500 Bitcoin now, that would be a lot. But the lesson of the moral of the story here is that because I've been through this, because I made these mistakes, it made me stronger. Right now I know, okay, look, the value of Bitcoin, like at that time I didn't understand the value of Bitcoin. I didn't understand why we need this asset. I always thought, okay, maybe Bitcoin's for crying or something like that, it's something weird. But now I suddenly realize, okay, Bitcoin is necessary because the financial system's broken. All right, now I understand that. We've seen examples of that.
Yeah.
And then now, yeah, I'm never gonna.
I mean, we are
never gonna,
later, right?
yeah, now I'm never gonna leave.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of people they're very soft, they don't understand. But I think I've been there, made my mistakes.
Bitcoin for these last 8 years, he just proved it. Prove it himself that this is the strong asset, and
yeah,
it's just going up and up.
And I think it's kind of funny. I mean, being in this space, so from 2017 onwards, I was making videos every. So you learn that there's good and bad in this space. Like there are a lot of people who are just trying. They don't believe in crypto. They don't believe. They abuse it. And I think right now this market is a good market for cleaning out anyone who's abusing the system. We will see scam projects that run out of money.
But there is less scams, I would say. What do you think?
I think there's.
It's not that easy to just make a website and go with.
Whereas because Binance started off with the IEO, and then all of a sudden every exchange was looking for projects to list. And you might hear the Binance ones, but if you look at the KuCoin ones or maybe BHODL or any not so good exchange, you're like, oh my god, it's full of scams.
Okay.
Like outright just listing on IEOs, like because the problem was that this year is the year of exchanges. Like I make these jokes that there's more exchanges than there are there coins, almost even more trade. I think even more coins than there are traders. I think like it's just crazy because you look at it like Bit4X. What else is Bit4X, right? And then BHODL, BitMEX, BitMax, Bitmin. I don't know, like that. Like there's so many creative names because the problem is that everyone just buys an exchange software and they just start running it, and then they'll try to list as many projects and as many IEOs as possible because they'll charge a listing fee. They'll make money out of it. So IEOs, I mean, the good news is IEOs are pretty much done now. I think. After the last few months, you can see that this a steady decline in the number of IEOs, and that's good. That's actually good. So I think we're distracted a bit this year.
But don't you think that it's also because there is not really new blood in the space?
Yeah, there's no. I mean, I've been to conferences this year since like this first year of this month, and you see the same group of people every conference. It's like, okay. Oh yes,
so it's still not there. That's why I'm so cautious about.
I'm just waiting. There's absolutely no new blood. It's Dobie again. Oh, it's Jason again. Oh, it's this. Like it's a very small circle at the end.
Okay, I have a question, and let's just talk about some other coins. Not the Bitcoin. You've been talking a lot on your channel about WeChain, right? how is it going with the project?
So I think I look at a bunch of things. So VeChain for me is the enterprise approach, right? So it's about understanding that, okay, what can you do that's also with blockchain? So, we talked a long time about Bitcoin and the value of Bitcoin. I think the explosion of interest came with the idea of a smart contract, right? We can create a contract that is executed by code, right? That's so amazing. To a programmer, so Bitcoin actually really started us off, right? Bitcoin had 6 instructions, and it's very simple. But Ethereum is Turing complete, which means that you can write anything. And then now we have this explosion. For me, VeChain is about enterprise applying that. So it's about what they push a lot there is they're pushing how they track authenticity on the blockchain, because blockchains are immutable, and then you can build contracts around that. So say, for example, a factory goes through various points, and every point it gets scanned, and the contract gets updated. You can actually track where it goes. And this does, even in Iceland, you see the big four, Deloitte, you see here, PwC, you see here. And all they do is they just count how many things leave a factory, right? They count how many things enter a factory, how many how many fish do you catch, or how many new products do you make.
Well, I know how we look the shipping papers. Let's say one container going from China to Europe. It's like that of files, every. And it's crazy, right?
It's crazy, and this can all be done on a blockchain. So I thought the reason why that was very interesting to me is that, okay, why can't we just simplify that, right? And what VeChain had was that they worked a lot with the big four. So you can see like PwC standard there, their DMVGL, they're a very big shipping company.
Where they are now, is it already?
Yeah, the mainnet's launched, and recently they actually launched.
Are they boarding customers?
Yeah, in fact, recently in Walmart in China, they actually have a test trial with products. So it's actually deployed in Walmart China.
Okay.
So you can scan items, and you can actually scan, okay, where did it come from, where did it go? It's all.
Very positive about the project still.
For sure.
Okay.
Sorry,
No problem.
Of course, anything with enterprise, it takes a long time. That's something we learned.
True.
Sorry.
No problem.
So even from the mainnet launch to now, it took almost 1 year for a lot of their contract migrations to go from the private net to the mainnet. That's why at the start, people are freaking out. Oh my God, where's the transactions? What's happening? Because they don't do fake transactions on it or anything. And so now finally you can see those transactions going through, and you can see a lot of migration right now. So PwC and stuff, they're all migrating their contracts onto there. So it's interesting. And I think for me, like, enterprise makes sense at the start because direct to consumer is really hard. To teach a consumer how to use a smart contract, I think that's like phase 4.
No, it have to be automated. It have to be on your phone. You just scan it and.
Yeah. But for that deployment level, it's not going to be there yet.
But it's also, it requires from customers actually the demand for that, for transparency,
Yeah.
As long they find with, whatever is there, it will not find the market, But they'll just.
It depends, but the thing is, like, why that approach works is that if you can get Deloitte or we get PwC to actually use that internally, just even in the auditing process, if you can simplify that, that's much faster than to consumer, because consumer you still have to teach them, right? You have to teach 1 million consumers, but if you just have
about those people who lose work.
Business. That's why you have to learn how to write your own smart contract. That's why you have to be the ones programming that blockchain.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't like.
I'm sure that the guys want to know what else would you recommend. Do you have some you said, do you have some shitcoins portfolio?
So I have a full shitcoins. We make this joke, right? So
it's a joke. I'm joking.
I say shitcoins affectionately right now. I'm very big in gaming because that's half my background is into gaming as well.
Okay.
So I think if you talk about consumers, gaming gamers actually know. Do you play games?
Well, I do play games, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, like every game has its own currency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me guess, engine.
Yes, there you go. We also have Player. So Player is our platform where it links people to play video games and have an ecosystem to teach mentorship. So that's pretty big. But the problem of gaming, I think, this year especially, is that there are so many distractions along the way. So many people pretending to be a gaming project when they're not.
Yes, that's true.
That's the worst part. And the worst part when I went to one of the conferences called Nifty Conference. It was the non-fungible tokens conference. It's done by the CryptoKitties guys. I walked in there, and I just like, I immediately wanted to walk out. It was like these very well-dressed, well-mannered investors, and they had no clue why an object in the video game will make money. That's the worst part. When you don't understand that, when you don't understand why there's an emotional attachment to, say, a World of Warcraft weapon or a Diablo Storm Jordan, when you don't understand that, that is when you should not be in the gaming space. So I saw a lot of people, a lot of investors who were just throwing money, and it's like, oh, my grandson plays games. Like, he bought an item for $300. This is amazing. It's the next big market. I'm like, guys, I'm out. Like, this is not a healthy environment, because gaming is a very mature space. Game companies, I'm like my background is into video game design, and it's not easy. I think like there's a lot of noise still, but I'm actually very bullish on the fact that you can use cryptocurrencies as a way to transfer money, because all gamers already knew, and that's
true. I'm playing I'm playing 2 video games. I'm not playing them, and as I was playing them when I was like 20 something.
Yeah. Do you play Diablo?
No, I play some Entropy Universe, and I play.
Which one?
Entropy Universe.
Okay.
It's some real cash economy game, and
yeah,
I'm playing a little bit of the Fortnite,
Yeah.
So anyway, you could transfer some items between them,
And also
I know that they have value for me.
And every gamer understands virtual currencies. World of Warcraft Go, Diablo Go, they're all currencies, right? So I think gamers have the best understanding of what a currency is.
It would be the easiest to apply for the gamers, because they just like, you remember the World of Warcraft Gold was so expensive back then,
Yeah, exactly.
So just coming to the end, Michael, what would you say to the Polish community? Some message, like to keep them, strong or whatever.
I think really just for me, okay, this is gonna sound really stupid, but read. I think reading is actually really important. A lot of people, they think they understand, but there's always room to understand more. And I think that's my key message. Like Bitcoin Standard or Mastering Bitcoin, Mastering Ethereum, whatever, read.
Educated. Bye guys.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe. Subscribe. Make sure a thumbs up. Make sure that's important. That's the key. All right, man. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Thank you, Michael.